What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kennedy G. Y'all know I hate small talk, so let's get into it. Okay. Who am I? What's my story? Where do I live? What do I do? What am I doing? To answer all these questions that I'm sure you guys might have had, I moved to LA about a year and a half ago to pursue my modeling career as well as acting career. And when I tell y'all that has literally been, this journey has literally been one of the best but also hardest times in my life. Yeah. And I've always known that I wanted to move to LA. I've always, like, ever since I was little, I've always wanted to live in California, especially SoCal. We've always taken trips here, like, and then once I got old enough to like kind of fly by myself and travel by myself, I felt like I always was just getting opportunities, or ended up back out here. Ever since I was like a little kid, I think probably even like younger than 4th grade, maybe even 3rd grade, I've always wanted to model, like since I can remember. I've always loved fashion. I've always loved watching America's Next Top Model, and just like I would beg my mom to take me to acting classes and modeling classes and camps and auditions and things like that. And you know, like I also played sports, so it was kind of hard to kind of do both. And I feel like at that time, being so young, it's kind of just like, okay, is this what you actually want to do? Or like, what are you gonna do? Like outside of that, because I kind of grew up in an area that's like very like upper middle class, suburban, upper class area, and people aren't really, you know, too artsy. They're not really doing too much on that creative side. They're super corporate, you know, everybody has a good job, makes over 6 figures, just living that like American dream cookie cutter lifestyle. But so ever since I could remember, like I was always begging my parents to do this and that, and then it kind of like, I kind of took it upon myself to find representation. I want to say when I was like in high school. Yeah. But the reason why I ended up out here was because like I said, I've been traveling back and forth as early as I can remember out to California, and I got to the point where I was old enough to travel by myself, and which is basically college. And then once I was done with college, I knew that like I needed to come up with a plan to like end up out here. So I worked, I graduated early. I worked for a couple years. Excuse me. I worked for a couple years as like a manager position, typical like corporate 9-to-5 social media manager job. And then I ended up meeting this producer, and he was like, oh, well, if you like come to LA, you will like, you know, we can get you in housing, we can get you set up with like whatever for this project. Cool, like whatever, like not thinking anything of it. Like a few weeks later, they were like, okay, like the project is a go. Can you come out here this Saturday? It was June 1st. It was June 1st, a year and a half ago. I packed my stuff up, pretty much knew that I wasn't coming back. Like I knew that like once I was gonna be here for like a month to work, I knew that like I was gonna do everything in my power to make sure that I did not have to go back home. Like I was told one time that when you move to LA that you should like couch surf and like couch hop and like whatever for like at least like 6 months before you move here, to decide if you actually want to live here or not. My first week out here, I had $100 in my, like literally like my, not even my first week, my first day out here, I had $100 in my pocket and I had an audition the very next day to host a red carpet for a very popular TV show. And I spent that $100. I got my hair done. That was a little last bit of money that I had, but I booked that job, and then it's been up ever since. Modeling has always been my dream, so it just kind of like always aligned with that. So I was like, I will do anything to get to my dream, to get to my goals. So I was like, whatever. Came out here, stayed in a hotel, was living in a hotel for like a month or two, was literally staying on different friends' couches, extra room. I ended up getting a roommate who I met through my manager at the time. I stayed with her for like, I was her roommate for about 6 months. It was a while. I want to say like at least like 6 months. Roommate and I just like weren't seeing eye to eye, and at that point in time, I had already gotten a job. It was just kind of, I was like, I have money saved up. It's just looking like it's that time. So I ended up, you know, getting a place and moving out. So I ended up moving out with like after like 6 months. I got a job, like a side job, doing like marketing and stuff, and saved up some money, got myself an apartment, and got my first studio. It's definitely been a journey. I was saving up money from like random modeling gigs, from that like weekend job I had, and it got really, really hard. So I applied for a corporate job, and my biggest thing was why I was like, just not wanting to work a corporate job for like that first year, because at this point it had been a year. I just felt like it just sucks you in. However, it's really hard to try to like work for your dreams, and so like something had to give. Like you can't do both, especially when you want something so bad. Like modeling, like the pay is really inconsistent, so like you gotta something, you know. So I ended up getting a corporate job. I have a lot of flexibility, so that really helps a lot with modeling and acting and styling and content creation, because that's also like all the things that I do. I am a content creator, but that is what I also do at a corporate level as well. I do social media management, but ultimately what I really want to do and what my passion is modeling and acting, and you know, fashion, styling, being in that space. But yeah, it's a lot, it's hard. I feel like one of the things that I want to portray on this channel is like my journey of what it's like to be living in LA. Like I've never lived on my own before. I feel like everybody has their own story, their own separate story, and mine is like, you know, like I'm just this suburban girl. I always grew up with like, you know, on the more fortunate side, and now I'm trying to figure out life and having to do things for myself, and it's definitely been a rude awakening. And I feel like I've always been someone that has had everything planned for them. I've always known everything that's gonna happen next, the next step. But I feel like since I've moved here, you know, I don't know what's next. I don't even know like what's going on half the time. Like it's hard. I've had to face a lot of different things that I'm used to. I've had to face adversity in other ways, but I've never really had to face them in ways that appeared as rejection. And that's something that's really hard to deal with, because when you want to be in the modeling and even just in any entertainment space, like you better get used to it, because I was somebody that, I don't know if I'm even used to it yet, but I'm definitely somebody that is learning it. And you know, sometimes you just gotta, I saw this quote and it just said that you know, a no isn't a no, it's just a redirection. So on this channel, I'm gonna show you guys, you know, the real stuff. Like, you know, I do travel, I do take trips, I do like nice 5-star hotels and luxury vacations, but I do also, you know, I'm living in LA, it's expensive. Sometimes I have to rough it, sometimes I have to figure things out, figure out what works for me, what's not working for me, and then do all of that while being fashionable. Like, okay. But yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. Thank you guys for watching and welcome to my life.